What's up, Sun Conference? It's your boy Manny, and I am pleased to welcome you to the 2024 Sun Conference Football Media Day. I am joined by Coach Joe Patterson and Junior Drew Leger from Ave Maria. Drew, Coach, thank you so much for spending time with me.
Looking forward to it, Manny. So, thank you for having us.
Coach, first thing I want to start with is last season, obviously, and to be honest with you, it felt like the end of last season didn't really give justice to how good the team was. It just kind of over gave it the wrong look, I feel like. And so I'm curious, for you personally, what word or what sentence would you use to describe the 2023 season for you guys as a whole?
Yeah, I think you hit on it, right? We were not the team that we started the season as in a lot of ways. Most notably, our depth was very tested. We had up to 50% of our two deep injured at times. So I think the word is consistency. We lack consistency. I think anytime you get that far into the depth, it's tough to be consistent.
No, for sure. Drew, with the season right around the corner, you personally, what was the focus to help the Gyrenes football program take that next step that you wanted to, again, focus on this season?
Yeah, Coach Patterson touched on it a little bit. We had a bunch of injuries, but for me personally, it's stay healthy. Um, we've been good this spring. This fall so far, and been feeling good. Hoping to stay healthy. Other than that, just leadership. Um, that's a big thing for me right now. Is trying to take control of the team and do the best I can to lead my guys.
Drew's a warrior, so he played last year with a couple different injuries and played through it. And so for him to be fully healthy at this point, as you know, he was freshman of the year a couple years ago, and we're excited to have him back full.
Where do you think personally for yourself, Drew, that you are from a leadership standpoint, how you've grown into that role, so to speak?
Yeah, for me, I've never really been much of a vocal leader. I've kind of just tried to lead by example, but I think I've done a little better now that I'm older. Um, I don't think I ever struggled with having respect from guys, but just to bring a different kind of energy to practice and meetings and anything that we do, um, making sure all the new guys and newcomers get all their questions answered. Just um, doing some of those things as well.
For sure. Coach, you're also in charge of the athletic program since May 2020. The position has been elevated twice since then upon my research. So I'm just curious right now, what is your role aside from being the head coach of football at AMU? And then is it hard balancing, again, being a part of the football program and possibly more on the athletic side of things?
Yeah, so touched on the big part, and that's director of athletics. We've gone from 14 to 27 sports during that time, so that growth has been really exciting. But of course, it takes time. So having a football staff and really having a staff for those 27 sports that don't need oversight, right? They are fully professional, fully on mission, and so being able to really uh, focus on what is football and what is athletics, and not necessarily have any of them being compromised.
No, for sure. Andrew or Drew, sorry. Obviously, your position as QB is one of the toughest in sports. Period. No question about it. But it's even more so when it's in the Sun Conference, a conference that's been on the rise for the past few years now. Again, a national champion that just came out of it last year. What is it like being a QB in this conference on a week-to-week basis, knowing you're playing some of the best football teams in the NAIA?
Yeah, like you said, it's toughest position in sports. So obviously it takes a lot, but like you said, in this conference, you just play teams with flat out athletes all around. And it takes a lot of preparation. Our coaches do a great job of getting us in there, watching film, getting the plays that we want. So seeing looks in film that we're expecting to see on the field. So it's really just preparation. And then obviously when you go out on the field, you got to execute. And it can be tough at times, but that's just how the game goes.
No, for sure. And with that being said, with you going into your junior year here, obviously you mentioned consistency on the health side, but is there something from your game that you really wanted to focus on and really wanted to harp on this year, whether it's preparation or something else?
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything specific, but you can always be better in everything. So obviously, I want for myself to be in the film run more, to execute better in practice, be better prepared. And that's just Like I said, nothing new, but it's a new level of expectation each year.
And what I would add to that is this is Drew's third year in this offense. So while it's not a new offense, yeah, it has a new level of wisdom associated with that offense with each year. And you really see that early in camp right now.
That's good to hear. Coach, along with the man sitting next to you, obviously, who are some of the other key returners that you're really excited for from this upcoming season, even if they're just some that are coming back off the injury list?
Well, certainly can't hide Brian Stemke, right? He led the nation in yards per game rushing last year, all-purpose yards as well, if you call yards from scrimmage, I should say. So he's back. He's looking great. He's had a great camp. And then, yeah, certainly you mentioned a couple of guys coming back from injury. Tristan Schultz, who was our defensive MVP, missed the last season. That's a big one for us. I think defensively, our front seven is as mature as we've had since I've been here, and really good speed to the ball there. And I think offensively, I think one of the big ones is Michael McGrath, who was our starting tight end the last couple of years, has moved to offensive line. He's 6'6", 250 pounds, and really athletic. So that's a big one for us.
For sure. And I was going to mention him. I'd be remiss not to talk about him. Brian had an absolutely amazing year last year, and one of the top 3 running backs in the conference, one of the only 3 to go for over 1,000 yards. So I just wanted to know, what is it like having a running back like that in the offense to add the versatility that he brings for the team on that side of the ball?
I'll start, and then I can let Drew take it from there. But I think the ability that he is able to handle a defender, right? Like, you can't block them all, right? And he runs with great pad level. He's agile, as you know. He's got good hands coming out of the backfield. But it's really his spirit, right? His spirit is contagious. There's a lot of energy there.
Yeah, Brian is nothing but special. He's just all around great person and a great teammate, but on the field, you can't hide it. He's an absolute dog. It should makes your job as a quarterback so much easier when you can hand him off. You can hand off the ball to Brian in a bad look or something that you might not want exactly, but he's going to run over that next guy, and then he's going to probably run over the next guy as well. And that really just helps you out. It bails me out a lot for sure. But yeah, he's special for sure.
Absolutely. And Coach, on the other side of that spectrum, who are some of the newcomers that have kind of surprised you a little bit in camp, or you're really excited for to see, can they translate that out onto the field in a couple of weeks here?
Well, we just finished our second inter-squad scrimmage this morning. And even with that, I'd say it's a little early to tell. I think that we're going to have a lot of newcomers on the field. I do know that. But how this goes by the time we get into conference play, that's almost seems like an eternity from now. So I could say there's going to be a healthy number of newcomers out there, but to predict just who would be a bit premature.
Understandable for sure there. And Coach, you mentioned the schedule. Obviously, Sun Conference play feels like a long time from now, but before that, you've got 2 noticeable teams in Dayton and Stetson. What do you think is going to take for a team to come away with those wins? And what do you think a message might be sent from not just for Avia, but the entire Sun Conference of like, look, I know we've been on the rise, but we really need to be looked at here when we're competing against some of these other schools around here in South Florida?
Yeah, so I think that what it's going to take to beat Stetson, what it's going to take to beat Dayton is the same thing it's going to take to beat the tops in this conference. And that's effort, toughness, love, discipline, right? All of that together. I mean, I scheduled these games intentionally, right? Because we want to be in a situation where we've been tested going into the year. Stetson, of course, went to overtime with St. Thomas last year. Dayton finished last year strong. I've known their coach for about 20 years, from back when he was at William and Mary, and they finished with wins against Marist and Davidson to close out the year. So that's a program on the rise as well. So it's football, right? You got to do all of it. And for us to be in a position to win, it's going to take effort, toughness, love, discipline.
No, for sure. And Drew, you've been there for a few years now, obviously, like Coach mentioned earlier. What do you feel is the most noticeable difference between the past Ave Maria teams in football and this year's team? Again, obviously not a game played yet, just finished their second inter squad scrimmage, but the feel around the team, how would you describe it in its uniqueness compared to the past years?
Yeah, every team's unique, with guys leaving, new guys coming in. But I really feel like the leadership that the people my age are bringing, it's something special. Our energy's been great. All of camp has just been every day we're out there busting our butts, and everybody's out there with a purpose, and you can tell that. And I think that's really something special, and I appreciate that a lot.
Understandably so. Drew, do you have any stories, any funny moments throughout camp? I'm sure there was something out there. I mean, you guys bonding, all that stuff. Anything that you can definitely share here that wouldn't get either one of us in trouble?
Man, put me on the spot. I don't know.
I think some of the most special moments tend to stay within
No,
in
yeah.
the program. I can comment that, just to piggyback what Drew was talking about, some of the most entertaining portions have been when I've been with the freshmen and the freshman only sessions as we acclimate, and just a great personality in that group and a great understanding of what they're about to undergo alongside the veterans.
No, yeah, for sure. And I'm kind of curious. I want to kind of pick at that. Not saying obviously it's a new thing, but I think it's the first time that I've heard of freshman only sessions. What are those like? What is the feel of those? Is that something that you've kind of been doing for a while there? Just kind of want to elaborate a little bit on the.
Well, as you know, August camp, it's basically 6:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night. So it's football and a lot of football, and a lot of football, but you still can't get to everything. And I think that for the freshmen, no matter, I mean, 3/4 of our team are from out of state, right? But even if you're from in state, you're still away from home. And the idea that you're going to have these men that you're going to be alongside for the next 8 semesters of your life, we want to make sure we're starting that with some intentionality and making sure that we can have a sense as to who we're going to battle with quickly, right? We play the 31st of this month. And so it's a chance for them to ask questions, but it's also a chance for them to get to know one another. And that's really important.
No, for sure. Last question for each of you here. First, for Drew, for you. I'm sure the Gyreans are going to shock a lot of people this year. I'm sure that they're going to turn some heads, but I'm curious to you, what do you think will be the biggest shock or the biggest accomplishment that you guys do this year that'll really turn some heads?
I mean, I think that's an obvious one for me to say. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a D1 win on our schedule this year. Obviously, we feel good about those games, but we know the competition that's at hand, and but we're not gonna. It's not gonna stop us from being prepared and ready to execute and go win those games for sure.
I'm excited for sure. And Coach, your final question here: what is it going to take for AMU to win the Sun Conference and punch their ticket to the NAIA postseason?
Well, obviously, it helps to win all the games, right? Right. You don't have to, right? You can. There can be co-champions and such, but I think it's a week-to-week process. Every week has to be championship week. That's when there's no playoffs within our conference, right? Every week is that. So championship focus every week.
No, for sure there. And Coach Drew, on behalf of me, Reagan, and the entire Suncast family, we appreciate the time and wish you the best of luck throughout the year.
God bless, Manny.
Thank you.